Get to the RamosLaw.com text line, lot to react to from the weekend that was. Evans, Payton's your guy. Now you have to live with it. I will gladly live with Sean Payton. The pros far outweigh the cons with what he's done. Yes, I would like him to be sharper when it comes to some game management, although I see plenty of head-scratching decisions made by coaches around the NFL. But no, he has to be better in some regards. I think if I put myself in his shoes, I think the way he looks at it is like, okay, even with us going for it after that 3-yard loss on first down, it still required a running into the kicker by our best special teams player, something we haven't done all season, to give the Chargers those extra 15 yards to be able to kick it. So I think in his mind, he looks at it like it was the right decision to make because the odds of his best special teams player, Tremon Smith, running into the punter, in his mind, were low.
Okay, but were they lower than 17 seconds left at your own 15, the clock is running? You're going to get points there? Like, what are the odds you're going to get points at that point? The Chargers had timeouts, obviously, because Jim Harbaugh used one after the third down run, but they didn't use it after first down. They were content to let the clock run out. So if you run the ball there, take a knee, do whatever, your odds of going into the locker room up 21-10 are 100%, because the Chargers, again, were content to let the clock run out. The first down call, I get it. You're trying to see if you can move the ball, get a little something going, 41 seconds or whatever they started the drive with. That's enough time to get something done. Once you lost 3 yards on a completion and the clock is running and it's 2nd and 13, your own 15-yard line, just take a knee, go into the locker room, and come back out with the ball. He got greedy. And it blew up in his face. I don't know why he's not willing to admit that, but the more he protests it, the more I'm convinced that he knows he was wrong.
Given the Bengals' recent excellent play and KC being just who they are, the Broncos could easily lose the 2 games and then be out of the playoffs. And I'm asking you two, then what? Any big changes in staff, players, etc.? Will the Walton group be warm and fuzzy with this season's results? That's Lee in Lakewood. Even if that were to happen, Lee, Sean Payton's hot seat, I saw this over the weekend described this way. Sean's sitting on a giant block of ice on his seat. There is no hot seat. Nothing would happen to him if that scenario played out. And the Broncos have already clinched a winning season, something that nobody really expected. And they can feel pretty confident about the quarterback that they drafted. So I don't think that you would be seeing a mass house cleaning if that scenario played out.
I would agree with you, but I think that's wrong. I think his seat should be hot. And I had this discussion yesterday when I was on with Dan Jacobs. If they lose out, they finish 9-8. They were 8-9 a year ago, Mike.
Mm-hmm.
So they barely improved, if at all, this year. And this year, last year.
Wow.
Well, hang on.
Okay.
Last year,
big difference.
Last year they won at Buffalo. This year they've got 9 wins against bad football teams.
Mm-hmm.
Last year they beat the Chiefs. This year, in that scenario, they would have gone 0-2 against the Chiefs. Right? So to some extent, I think they've had a worse year. They played a game on Christmas Eve last year that was 23-23 with just over 2 minutes left, and they had the football. They were that close to making the playoffs. If they go 9-8 and miss the postseason, it's the same thing this year. They were that close to missing the playoffs.
Yeah, but
it's a wash.
No, it's not a wash.
It's a total wash.
Because in one case, you had a veteran quarterback who you were paying $50 million or getting prepared to pay $50 million a year to, that you gave up a king's ransom for, that supposedly was on a Hall of Fame trajectory. And I will remind people that coming up tomorrow is the 1-year anniversary of Russell Wilson being outplayed by Bailey Zappi. All right?
That's
Zappi.
That's not true. Russell Wilson was great in the fourth quarter of that game. He led a 16-point comeback. He was great.
Had the ball. Had the ball late in the game.
And then Sean Payton decided to go back to Sean Payton and called a bubble screen, and they lost 3 yards.
Come on. You can't. At some point, you got to be able to put the blame on Russ. All right? And you got to be willing to put the blame.
He nearly bailed out Sean. And then Sean went back to Sean play calls. But here has been my argument the whole time.
You're going to compare Russ to a rookie quarterback, and the two are the same?
Here's been my argument the whole time, Mike. They were 8-9 last year, which was a big improvement from the Hackett debacle, right? Russ threw 26 touchdowns, 8 picks. He looked like himself in terms of his weight and his ability to move around. He looked more like Seattle Russ. My point all along was, look, once you traded for him and gave up all that, and especially once you gave him the contract, the responsible thing to do is be all in on him and try and do everything you can to make it work. They would have. Are you telling me they couldn't have, with this schedule, gone 9-8 and missed the playoffs with Russ, Brock Bowers, and $20 million worth of free agents? Of course you could have.
You keep bringing up what the savings that they would have been able to have some extra salary cap to spend this year. You do realize, though, that if you do bring back Russ, you're basically signing up for a 3-year commitment with Russ
instead of 2
at $50 million a year. So you're talking about all these savings you're going to get this year, but you're going to be paying monstrous money for him over the next couple of years. Instead, you take the salary cap paying this year, but you're going to have Bo Nix on a rookie contract for the next few years.
And
that's where you get a lot more savings. And I think a better quarterback.
And 2 of the 4/5 years with Bo Nix, you've got to absorb $85 million worth of dead cap. So your ability to put talent around him is hindered because you decided to eat that. Let's say they go 9-8 and miss the playoffs this year. Okay. Do you think it would be stupid to say, let's blow it up? Or would it be smart to say, let's build upon that? We were close. You would build upon it.
Sure.
That's what they were a year ago.
Yeah, but you're what you're forgetting is that you're still, even under your scenario, if you'd brought Russ back.
And drafted Brock Bowers.
Okay, fine.
And signed
Darnell
Mooney.
But you're still looking at a team that needs a massive roster upgrade, okay? A roster upgrade that's going to be at least 2 more years before you're really in position to compete for the AFC Championship. At that point, Russ is 38 years old. And so great that now you start to build up a team that you feel better about, and you're going to have to replace an aging quarterback and then go into all the uncertainty of that and start over with a rookie. No. Give me what we got now.
Last year, they had one of the worst defenses in football. This year, they have one of the best. They'll have improved by 1 game and still miss the playoffs. So tell me again how they've solved the quarterback issue.
All right, because they win a game better with a rookie quarterback than the guy that was supposed to